So welcome to my channel. These are the 7 tips that I think a beginner new to photography, new to landscape photography will need as soon as possible to enjoy their creative journey of landscape photography. These points, these tips, these things that I suggest that you need are just my opinion. There's no regulations, there's no rules. These are just this is in my opinion, from my experience, what I think everyone would need to start and enjoy their landscape photography journey. So number 1, obviously camera body. You might get a camera with a fixed lens on it, but if you don't, you need to get a decent camera body that will let you shoot, or is able to shoot, in manual mode, so you can control your f-stop, shutter speeds and ISOs. Then you're in full control of your camera and creative control of what you want to envision and capture in location. So a good camera and a memory card is number 1. Number 2, no surprise what it's going to be, a lens, a wide angle lens. I think a wide angle lens is the best place to start with landscape photography as a beginner. Obviously, as you develop and your skills and aspirations of what you want to capture grow, you would go with different focal lengths, but I think to start, a wide angle lens. That can vary between crop frames, micro, 2/3 and full frame sensors. I use a full frame sensor and I use a 16 to 35mm, and when I had a crop frame sensor, I think I had an 11 to 19mm lens for the wide angle perspective. Don't really go any wider than that because it starts looking really funky and a bit fish-eye-y. So yeah, mine's 16 to 35mm is a perfect wide angle lens to start with landscape photography. So number 3 on the list of the things that I think you need at the start of your landscape photography on you to enjoy the journey of landscape photography is a tripod. A tripod is massively important, I think, for landscape photography, because it gets you to slow down. It gets you to drop the pace, not just taking pictures everywhere and playing the numbers game. It really makes you think about your compositions and just slows down the trail of thought and lets you be present, and just helps in that journey of just taking your time to see the beautiful surroundings, which I've got today. And the other thing as well is long exposures. As soon as your shutter speed gets too slow that you can't hold your picture and take a sharp image, tripods are just the way forward. So long exposure, that is a massive creative aspect to landscape photography, whether you want to kind of make the clouds kind of have a really cool effect. Water, long exposures in water is a great way of being creative with landscape photography. Light trails, astrophotography. Astrophotography, I don't think you could do it handheld decently. Tripods are a must, so I think they're a really definite contender to be on our list of the 7 different things. So number 4 on our list of the must things that I think you need for landscape photography, being a beginner, is filters. Filters, I think, are really important for your creative journey into landscape photography. They open up so many different aspects and creative outlets in your visual photography. So we have the polarizer. I'll quickly go into these. Polarizers cut out reflections. So on the water surface, if you wanted to cut out that sky reflection and see all the details of the color of the water, that will do exactly that. It will richen colors, so greens in grasses, blue skies. It really enriches and makes your colors pop before you even go into any computer editing systems. Neutral density filters, they are basically just a pair of sunglasses for your camera. It just helps you drag out your shutter so you can get longer exposures. Really creative tool to have in your kit. So you can long exposure on your skies and get them warping past in your image to show motion. Waters, rivers, the ocean, waterfalls, car lights at night if you're doing cityscapes, they really help your creative aspect and your aspirations of what you want to create. So number 5 of musts is time. Having the time to get to locations before sunset, golden hours start, or going to the ocean and having time to wait for tides or the sunsets, just not rushing, just slowing down, embracing the time, and incorporate that with your landscape photography. It's not a fast-paced kind of fast-paced reactive situation. It's being outside, enjoying nature while you're outside, and embracing landscape photography and Mother Nature and the great outdoors. So number six goes with number 5 really. It's planning. Planning is a massive overlooked thing in landscape photography. I'm guilty of kind of just seeing the weather is going to be nice, going, oh yeah, it's going to be nice, and reacting, kind of going to a location that I might envision a little bit, not all the time, but quite a lot of the time. So planning is a really good thing to kind of get in the mindset and the process, and keeps that routine of planning. Like if you're going to go to the, like example, so if you're going to go to the ocean, make sure that you check to see whether the tide's on its way in, whether it's on its way out, how big the surf is, what's the wind doing. You don't want to be caught on a beach and being stuck on a beach that you can't get off if from low tide to mid tide the exits get cut off. Astrophotography is a massive, it's all about planning. If you want to shoot the Milky Way, certain times of the year it's visible. If the moon's coming up, it might wash out the Milky Way. Certain times of the year only the core of the Milky Way is above the horizon. It's all to do with planning. So I think that a lot in landscape photography, a lot of people kind of dismiss a certain amount of planning. There's locations that look better with the sun coming up behind the subject, through the subject. It just really pays off. The more planning you put into your locations, scouting compositions, getting ideas, just not going to a location totally blind and knowing kind of your surroundings to a certain level is a really good tip. So number 7, we're here. The 7th and final tip of this 7 tips to your landscape photography journey is editing software. Even if you are using a film camera, you're going to scan those films and get them onto a computer and then do some sort of editing. If you want to post on social media, you're going to want to do some sort of editing, downsizing of the image size for social media. So no matter how you look at it, you're going to want to be able to organize your imagery and catalog it correctly. You're going to want to learn some level of editing, whether you're a documentative photographer that you kind of, whatever your camera captures, that's what you want to show, or whether you're like me that likes to do a lot of Photoshop editing work as a kind of digital photography / art painting, digital painting. I absolutely love manipulating and playing with my imagery to kind of showcase one image shows that whole amount of time and the energy of that location that I captured. That's what I love doing. It's a digital art. So there's loads of softwares out there. I'm not going to start saying which ones you should use or not. I'm a bit old school. I've used Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Lightroom for years, like coming on 16 years I think. I've been like a serious hobby. The last 9 years has been professional, full-time, and yeah, I use those too. There's AI, there's lots of software companies coming up trying to clip the heels of Adobe Photoshop and reclaim and take the throne away from them, as it were. And there's software that can do a lot of good things, but I stick with what I know, and there's not anything out there as far as I'm aware that are doing something drastically different from Photoshop that I can't do in Photoshop. So I'm just going to stay with what I know. Old dog, new tricks and all stuff like that. But you're going to have to learn, even for cataloging or some downsizing, sharpening for the internet. Editing has got to be up on the list. Clap on. So that was my 7 tips to start what you need to start as your landscape photography journey. I really hope you found value in it. I'm going to try and do a lot more of these how-tos, what to do's, kind of informational videos. I really hope that you got some value out of it. Maybe some of them were a little bit iffy. Obviously the filters, you don't need them, but I really think that all these things just help with your journey of enjoying landscape photography, and that's what it's all about, is being out in nature, embracing the outdoors, capturing it and sharing your passion. So please feel free to subscribe, like the video. It will help my channel loads. I think there's even a bell icon you can click so you get to know when I'm going to upload a video or when I've uploaded a video. I'd love you to comment, tell me what you'd like to see more of or what you think of the video. And honestly, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy. See you later. So thank you so much for watching. We got there. There are the 7 things that I think you need to start as a beginner landscape photographer and progress in your positive journey into capturing the great outdoors. I really hope that you got some value out of it, and I'd love you to subscribe and like and click a bell, and if you could comment, that would be amazing. Let me know what you'd like to watch in the future. I will be doing more tutorials and how things work and compositions in the future, so please feel free to subscribe. And like I said, love to hear your comments and some feedback on what you think I could improve or what you'd like to hear. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Cheers.